Y'all, look, I'm reading this book here of this minister, and he's a Edomite. I mean, from what I see, and he got a lot of. It's a bunch of truth in here, but he got a lot of lies in here. And when you read this book, oh, when you actually read this book, and I put my glasses on, I'm gonna read this here. I mean, I don't have to, but I just put them on just to save myself, keep a big strain off of it. But when you read this book, you sit up and like, wait a minute. But the only difference is he keep throwing the Gentiles in there. If he didn't throw the Gentiles in there, then he would be on point. But more than likely, Esau is not going to tell the truth. I want to read this here, but when you read it, I'm like, do this man realize he exposing himself as a Edomite Esau? He ain't even content. He doing a good job. I mean, think about it. The devil knows scripture. Listen to this. Jeroboam was the only king in Israel's history. The title of it is called, okay, well, what I'm reading is saying, the title is called Israel Goes into Slavery. Jeroboam was the only king in Israel's history. Note, note, to have a careful, to have a actually made history, notice, to have actually made the people sin. That's Jeroboam. Notice, Jeroboam drove Israel from following the Lord and made them sin a great sin. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did, and they departed not from them. 2 Kings 17:21 through 22. Jeroboam bringing Israel to sin and caused God to remove Israel out of his sight. Verses 23 further records that the outcome of their Sabbath breaking was captivity. That's the Israelites. Okay, we agree with you there. But with the Gentiles together, no, you lost me there. And record verse 23 further records that the outcome of their Sabbath breaking was captivity, slavery, until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants, the prophets. So Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. We not in the land of we're in the land of our oppressors. We're not in our own land. Let's keep going. Judah was not taken into Judah was not taken into captivity until 604 BC, but God causes the Assyrians to take the house of Israel into captivity. And 721 through 718 BC, the Assyrians literally enslaved. Look, the Assyrians literally enslaved them and carried them far away from their homeland to Assyria on the southern shore of the Caspian Sea. Several generations later, The Babylonian Chaldeans Empire came to power under Nebuchadnezzar. They entered Judah and took all the inhabitations captives unto inhabitations captive unto a land of modern day Iraq over the period from 604 to 585 BC. Not long after Israel was taken to Assyria, the Assyrians immigrated to northern Europe and settled in what is now modern Germany. They took their Israelites slaves with them, eventually allowed these peoples to immigrate further north and west and to regain their independence. They call in the northwestern Europe, including the British Islands and the Savant, Scanian, Savant, Scan. I know what it is, but I can't really say it. Scandinavia, a huge. If I say, I know what it is, but I'm just. It'll come to me. A huge question looms from this historic invasion. Immigrated, and the 10 tribes lost their identity. Why did the house of Israel become lost to themselves and to the world? For over 200 years, Israel had known their identity. Israel had known their identity. Over 200 years, 200 years, they knew their identity. That they were the house of Israel. What happened? This tells you what happened. All right. The answer is basic and more crucial to your understanding than you can imagine. Israel stopping keeping God's Sabbath, and this lost the national sign that identifies them. They cause to be the people with whom God was not, that God was working. Israel lost all national identity after they were taken to Assyria. They ceased to function as a nation with a huge and government. Eventually, they took on the Assyrian language. This is what happened to our people, man. This is the reason why a lot of our people, we speak like English. And they took on the Assyrian language, lost track of their native Hebrew tongue. They became slaves. The 10 tribes that had followed Jeroboam into rebuilding God, because lost to history, because they gave up God identifying sign. Because they gave up God identifying sign in his hold on. That means I'm falling asleep probably. The 10 tribes that had followed Jeroboam unto rebellion against God, because lost to history, because they gave up God's identifying sign, his Sabbath. They lost track of who they were, even Even the world no longer recognized them. Wow, that really stood out to me because we see this today. I'm gonna come back and read some more tomorrow. I'm just sleepy. Well, tired. So I'm gonna get up out of here, people, and I'm gonna see y'all later.